welcome back, everybody, to the channel. This is episode 32. It is Monday. Now, if you guys are following me on Facebook at In Hindsight, I did put an update out there that this week it was going to be Sunday and Monday. Saturday, I honestly fell asleep. By the time I woke up, it was too late, and I was honestly feeling sick. So I didn't want to do a show because I didn't want it to be a lesser version of me. So nonetheless, we moved it to Sunday, and we're just going to do Monday today. So obviously today's show is going to be really recapping the Steelers and Panthers game, the final game of the preseason. Praise God on that. We have some things that we're going to go over that we're just going to dive into. I'm going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about people's stock up, stock down after the game. We'll be looking at the roster cut so far, who else we could see get cut, who we could see on the practice squad, things of that nature. And we'll probably be kind of looking over, if there's any changes to our predicted 53-man roster based on last week. But anyway, hopefully you guys are having a good Monday to start your week. I know Mondays are absolutely the worst for, really mostly everybody. I mean, if you're in school, obviously Mondays are the worst. If you're working on Mondays, Mondays are obviously the worst. It's freaking ridiculous. So hopefully this show can maybe lift up your spirits a little bit, maybe give you some entertain you a little bit, maybe take your mind off things, or if you're bored, so that's really what's going to be the basis of the show today. But yeah, so anyway, this is probably going to go up later today. It's so stupid because I love, really 3 o'clock is what I target in regards of upload time when the video's available on YouTube and Spotify. But yesterday, for example, I was planning on the video at least being up by 4 or 4:30. And YouTube just was taking longer than usual to get the thing uploaded. Had to pass the copyright check, had to process HD, everything like that. It's ridiculous. Exporting. Now, when I export off of my, when I transfer the video recording to a movie, so it depends how long the video is for it to be uploaded. So sometimes it's frustrating. I'm going to have to really get it situated and figured out in regards of I might just have to record earlier at this point in time than normal. But at this point in time, we are recording. It is 2:53, so obviously we won't make the 3 o'clock mark. This will probably be up by 5:30. Knowing YouTube, everything like that, but I had some car problems this past week, and I finally got it taken in today. We got it situated right now, so that's good. And then, like I said, I was actually at work a little bit earlier today for a little bit, so that's why. And then I stopped at Chipotle. Had to, I was feeling Chipotle. I love Chipotle, so we had to do that. So that's why the show was a little bit delayed, but it was going to be delayed regardless because of work, and obviously the car. I didn't know how long it was going to take. So there you go. But anyway, we're here. So by the time you're watching this, it's probably going to be about 5 o'clock, 5:30. I'm assuming, as long as YouTube does everything right. But let's hop right into it, folks. Let's hop right into it. And I hope. Like I said, I hope especially once we really transition into our new podcast schedule that I can get things situated with YouTube and stuff like that. But I might just have to record a little bit earlier at this point. So I apologize for any inconveniences on anybody who might expect it up at 3 o'clock. Sometimes it's not up to that. Usually because of the export and the upload problem. That's why. So we'll get it figured out. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it, folks. Steelers and the Carolina Panthers played. They played, I believe they played Friday night. Yeah, they played Friday night. This was, hold on, I clicked the wrong thing. So they lost 34-9. This was a slaughterhouse. I worked Friday night. I worked all day Friday. I got home to watch the second half of the game. But the Steelers, they were sleeping through this whole thing, man. It's like they didn't get their sleep out. It was a nice 3-hour power nap for them. I mean, honestly, you would have been a lot better off. Now, I still would have watched the whole thing because that's usually what I do. But if you don't really care about preseason, you would be better off probably, watching a movie, maybe playing some PlayStation, something like that. You would have been a lot better just staring at a blank wall right in front of you than watching this game. Holy smokes. If you're a Steeler fan, this was a snooze fest. This was a sleep, just a complete, just sleep city. That's what this whole game was. It was a sleepwalk for the Steelers, man. And now again, it's preseason, don't really care. None of the Steelers starters played, but Carolina starters played, I believe, the first half. I know they played the first quarter. I believe they played most of the first half. So you do kind of factor in those things too, but it's just the effort wasn't there. You know what I mean? I would have expected maybe a little bit effort, maybe a little bit better things, especially for guys that are trying to really make this roster. But it is what it is. So let's just kind of break down this game real quick, man. So Dwayne Haskins started this game, which a lot of us were excited to see. Rudolph didn't play. I think really that's a sign that he's going to be the number 2, which I really thought was probably going to be the case regardless of how Haskins played. I felt like Dwayne Haskins really had to really blow the roof off in preseason to really earn that number 2 spot. But we know he's going to be the third guy. But he went into this game, man. Again, I'm not putting it all on him. There were issues with the offensive line. He didn't have any of the guys out there. So it's not all on him. But he had a turnover. He wasn't getting the ball down the field. Was reading, reading the defense wasn't on point. The defensive reading wasn't on point. I don't know if it was something that they were trying to play more conservative offense. I don't know why. I don't know why you don't really want to see what Dwayne Haskins can do down the field and getting the ball moved around more. I really don't know. So I'm not putting all the blame on Dwayne Haskins here or anything like that. But he did have a poor game. He did. And he didn't, he just didn't execute on plays. He didn't execute on drives really the whole first half. Played a little bit into the third. And It wasn't impressive, and again, you have to put things in perspective too. But at the same time, Haskins just has to make more plays. He's got to be better at, reading, who's where, seeing who's where, having better awareness, making better decision making in the pocket. It's not all on him, not at all. I think Dwayne Haskins definitely. The Steelers are going to keep him around for sure. They'll keep him around after this year, 100%. There's talent there, but it's untapped talent. So the Steelers definitely, absolutely, 100% should just keep working with him. I think he's in the best situation for him career-wise. It's hard to predict, really, how he's going to be moving forward. I'm not going to judge him after, when he hasn't played at all in the preseason with the top guys. I don't want to make any judgments off that. Haskins, for the most part, I thought he had a nice preseason. I thought he was okay in the first game. I thought he looked really nice in the second game. Now the Steelers played 4 preseason games, so I thought he looked really nice in the second game. The third game he didn't get a ton of action because Big Ben was in. And then last game obviously was definitely his worst game of the preseason. But I thought he had a fine preseason. I thought he looked good. I thought he looked. I thought he played nice most of the way. There's obviously there's a lot more room to grow. They need to keep working with him and getting what they can get out of him. Who knows what will happen. But yeah, Dwayne Haskins he didn't have a good game. And like I said, I'm not putting all the blame on him, but he didn't. Now, Josh Dobbs came in at some point in the third quarter, but he didn't really play too long because I believe it was a groin injury that he suffered. Or no, it was turf toe. It actually was turf toe. He went to the blue tent. He was having a hard time, moving around, walking around. He went back to the locker room. So Dwayne finished the game off, and he did throw a touchdown. But again, that was kind of in garbage time toward the end of the game. It just, the efficiency wasn't there. The awareness, just, it wasn't there for him tonight. Or not tonight, but Friday night. He went 9 for 16, 108 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Josh Dobbs went 6 for 11 for 35 yards before the injury. So, you just got to, I think, you just keep giving time with Dwayne Haskins, man. He's not in any pressure. He's not in a hurry. He's in a good spot, and that's where he needs to be. Josh Dobbs, I think Josh Dobbs, I don't really know. I honestly think that I think at the very best in his career, he's a number 2 quarterback. I think at the very best, I think he's a smart guy. He knows football. I do like his mobility. I think he has decent footwork. I think he has decent awareness in the pocket. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world or anything like that, but he's going to be the odd man out. I definitely see him being on the practice squad, and we're going to go over, as we kind of go through the rest of this game here, we're definitely going to go over who the practice squad guys could definitely possibly be, but when you're the fourth guy like Dobbs, man, it's hard to, it's hard to make an impact. It's hard to get those opportunities in the game because you're going to have Rudolph and Dwayne above you, you know what I mean, and those guys are going to play with more so ones, maybe the twos and things like that, and you're kind of stuck with the threes and so on. So Dobbs, I love his character. I think he comes off as a really cool guy. If for some reason let's say he gets on the practice squad, and there could definitely be a team who maybe to start the year or as the year goes on needs an extra backup quarterback, they could definitely swipe him from the Steelers practice squad if that's the case. But anyway, let's kind of go over here. So Benny Snell finally made his preseason debut. He's been out all training camp, all out with some kind of injury. I don't even know what that was. He didn't do anything really groundbreaking this game or really to show like, hey, I'm picking up where I left off last year, where he didn't really leave off anywhere, but still, at least like, hey, I'm still, I don't know why I was stuttering there. I think I was just trying to catch my words, but that he didn't do anything in regards to showing like, hey, I know I've missed training camp, but I'm the guy for the number 2 spot. He didn't show any of that. He went 8 carries, 28 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. Nothing special from Benny Snell. Benny Snell is going to make this team, I'm sure, simply because the Steelers know what they have in him. He's been on the team 2 years now. In the absence of James Conner, he's had a few, really solid games, but Benny Snell is an expendable guy. He is. He's an expendable guy. And I think him and Kalen Bellage have a lot of similarities in their running style. I don't really think you need to keep both of them. I think you're going to keep one or the other. I don't know if they're going to keep 3 or 4 RBs, but Benny Snell started this game as the running back. Jalen Samuels got a little bit of time, so did Kalen Bellage. They both got a few carries each. To be honest with you, I don't think Benny Snell's done anything to earn the number 2 spot. I think that should be Anthony McFarland. I think Anthony McFarland has shown some good signs in preseason. I think, he's been available. He's been there. He's been working hard. He's had some nice catches out of the backfield for big gains. You know what I mean? He's a different kind of running back from Najee Harris. And I think that if you implement him in the right way, he can definitely bring a different dynamic, in certain packages on offense or whatever the heck you're doing. So I think Anthony McFarland has earned that number 2 spot. Kalen Bellage, again, he's another guy. He's worked hard. He's been available. I think that he's made the most of his opportunities in preseason. I would take Kalen Bellage right now over Benny Snell. And it's not a knock on Benny Snell. I'm not saying Benny Snell has no talent. I'm not saying he doesn't belong in the league. I think Benny Snell's a fine number 2 guy, I think, on most teams. But it's just when you're not available and you have these guys that are working hard, playing their ass off, and are producing, you know what I mean, decently, at least at the highest. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, but it's just, I don't think Benny Snell's really done anything to showcase or to earn. And even over the last 2 years, it's not like he stood out from anybody else in that going into this year. Oh man, we got to hold on to Benny Snell, man. We got to hold on to him. He's definitely number 2. No, not at all. I think Benny Snell's an expendable player for sure. Do I think he'll make the team? Probably. I don't really know. I think Anthony McFarland has earned that number 2 spot. I think Bellage should earn a spot on this team. Jalen Samuels, they could keep Bellage and Snell. I think that's how it's going to be, and Samuels is going to get cut. But at least Jalen Samuels, yes, his time has kind of run its course here. But if we're not going to keep 2 of kind of similar guys, I think at least Jalen Samuels can offer versatility, So Benny Snell started. He'll probably make the team, but I just don't think if he makes a team, I don't think he's done anything to earn that number 2 spot. Chase Claypool played a series or 2. He had 1 catch for 11. James Washington, I believe, played. He didn't get anything. Ray McCloud. Here's the thing. Here's another thing coming out of this game, man. The Steelers, we know who their 4 receivers are. Juju, Deontay, Chase, and James Washington. They had 5 guys last year. Maybe they could have kept 6. Ray McCloud's supposed to be that 5. He probably still will be. But none of the receivers trying to be that 5th or 6th guy they haven't done anything to show that they deserve to be that. Man, what a terrible showing from the receivers this game, man. Ray McCloud was awful. You know, guys like Matthew Sexton, he got cut, but man, he had a terrible. I believe I read he had an awful decision on special teams. Just the decision making he did was terrible. So Sexton, Rico Bussey, I don't think's done anything in regards of deserving a spot on the roster. Who else is there? White, I forget his name. He's kind of really been in more toward the second half of games. He'll probably be a practice squad guy. But there hasn't been any receiver on this team that, aside from your 4, that's been like, man, this guy should be on the team. There hasn't been any of that. So Ray McCloud will probably be the 5th guy. But other than that, I wouldn't keep another receiver. You can put 2 or 3 maybe on the PS, but other than that, there hasn't been a receiver in regards of, you know, I don't really think these guys really did that well taking advantage of that opportunity. That's just me. I could see guys like White. I could see maybe a Rico Bussey going to the practice squad, but I don't really. Anthony Johnston. I mean, I haven't seen anything. Cody White. There you go. Cody White. Yeah, I mean, just none of these guys have shown that they should be on this team. I mean, Ray McCloud did have a touchdown at the end of the game. Was that it? Yeah, he did have a touchdown at the end of the game from Haskins, 4 for 61. But still, I mean, he had a couple bad drops, I believe, and just not really anything special of a game. So that's probably going to be your 5. Ray would be the 5th one. Anthony Johnson can maybe go to the practice squad, but I just don't see it. Who else we got here, man? Defensively. So far, there's nobody's stock is up right now. So far, stock down. I'm not going to put Haskins in it because Haskins is going to make this team. And Haskins has had a pretty good preseason, I think, for the most part. So stock down, I think we have Benny Snell stock down. I think we have really the guys trying to be that 5th or 6th wide receiver stock down. So really, Ray, but he'll be on the team. So Anthony Johnson, Sexton, he's already cut. Cody White, guys like that stock down. Rico Bussey stock down. Another guy, probably the worst guy last game, Robert Spillane. Man, I think every Steeler fan is so happy right now that they went and they got Joe Schobert. Robert Spillane, now again, I'm not putting this all on him because the Steelers have been doing this for years. Putting a inside linebacker on a receiver. For what? What are you putting? I mean, they've even done it with edge guys. What are you putting a linebacker, especially like Spillane, who's terrible in coverage, on a receiver for? I don't understand. We see it every year, and they get burnt. It's every year. But Robert Spillane, man, I believe he gave up like over 60 yards and receiving yards. I believe they kept attacking him. I believe on passes his way, 3 for 3. All of them were first downs. He had a terrible game. He looked awful. Now, he'll be on the team as a 3rd inside linebacker still. But, man, I mean, if they didn't get Schobert, this would be very, very concerning. Going into the season, him as your number 2 linebacker. Unbelievable, aside from Devin Bush. Thank God they went and got Joe Schobert. Spillane is not a coverage guy. He's not good in coverage at all. We saw that last year. We saw how bad he was last year when he took over for Devin Bush and as the year went on. I don't know what to tell you anymore at this point, man. The Steelers, I don't understand how they haven't had it figured out that you cannot be putting these guys on wide receivers. It never works out in their favor. It's terrible. It's absolutely ridiculous. Justin Lane, his stock's gone down. He had an awful game from what I read. I mean, going through some of these guys, I mean, there's already been guys that have been cut already. We'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, I think Spillane was definitely the worst guy this game. But that's really your stock down. Now, I think guys whose stock went up maybe this game. I think Chris Wormley's stock went up. He had a pretty nice game. Let me see here. Where's he at? Okay. Excuse me. So from what I was reading, like I said, I only got to watch the second half of the game. But from what I was coming across and reading, Chris Wormley apparently had a good game. So, there's really nothing statistically I can really go over. Let me see. Yeah, there's really nothing statistically I can go over in regards to showing that. But from what I was coming across, I guess, he was just getting involved really well. He was doing his part, man, filling in for Tuitt, who still isn't there. And we'll talk about him after this. But Chris Wormley, Isaiah Loudermilk. I mean, Isaiah Loudermilk's actually been really impressive. There are a lot of people who didn't like that pick, I believe, in the 4th round of the draft this year, taking him. But he's been very impressive this preseason, and he's definitely going to make this roster for sure. I think, honestly, in my opinion, I think he's been the best depth defensive lineman in this preseason, man. He had another sack. He had another tackle for loss. He was in on 4 tackles, had 1 solo tackle, in on 4. I mean, he's been getting to the quarterback. He's been getting good pressure. He's been in the mix of everything. I think that's really what you want to see out of one of your depth guys. So kudos to him, man, that he was able to have a really good showing this preseason. He's definitely going to make the team. So him and Wormley, that's a stock up there. Also, stock down is definitely going to go to Quincy Roche. He's done nothing this preseason to show that he should be one of the edge rushers to start the year. He'll be on the practice squad, but he's done nothing to show that at all. So stock down on him. But stock up for Wormley, for Loudermilk, and also for Isaiah Buggs. Isaiah Buggs has been another guy who, he's been helping, filling in. I mean, Tuitt obviously not there, and even if he was, it's not like he'd be playing really anyway. But he's a guy that I believe this is his 3rd year on the team now, and he's gotten more opportunity as the last couple years have went on, and especially in preseason and camp to really show what he can do. And so I definitely, from what I've been reading, like I said, I didn't really get to watch him much this past game, but he's been impressive, and a lot of people have been liking what he's been doing. So he's definitely a candidate to make this team, it seems like. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was. Let me see. Let me go to the team stats here. So the Steelers had. Where is it? Yeah, why isn't it showing up? Jeez. Yeah, okay, they're not going to show team stats. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I mean, from what I watched, man, it wasn't good. The receivers that were out on the field come the second half, again, none of them showed anything in regards of that they should be worthy of making this team. Haskins just not a good show in this game. It's not all on him either, but this is definitely that game as you're the starter, especially going against Carolina's guys starting off the game, that you really wanted to have a good showing, and it just didn't happen. Really, I think coming out of this game, I really think the defensive linemen really had the showing in the most part, and really come out of this game were probably the most positive. I mean, that's really it, man. I mean, going through this, I mean, there's already guys that have been cut, which I'm not surprised about, which we'll go over here in a minute, but just not surprising at all. I mean, Sam Darnold had a really nice game. From what I was reading too, he was kind of having a poor first quarter, but he went 19 for 25, 162 for 2 touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard played a little bit, 10 for 35. Spencer Brown, 1157 TD. Obviously, there was no McCaffrey. Terrace Marshall, the rookie, caught a touchdown. And Robbie Anderson caught a touchdown, too. So, looks like Sam Darnold's going to... he's got some guys to work with. DJ Moore's pretty good. Terrace Marshall, you got the rookie. You got Robbie Anderson, so he's got some guys to work with there. But, hey, in the last preseason game, when you're not playing anybody, I feel like this is really expected for the most part, but it definitely was just a missed opportunity for Haskins. And I'm not saying Haskins had to play the best game. His best game was the second preseason game. I wasn't expecting him to top that, and it's hard. Like I said, it's not all on him. It's hard to do things as well when you have nothing to work with, because he didn't have anything. But still, you still wanted to show at least better than what you did, and he didn't do that. So stock up from this game. We really only have a few guys from Wormley, Bugs, Loudermilk. Carlos Davis has been a guy that's been raved about, so maybe I think his stock's kind of been going up really since camp. Stock down, Benny Snell, Anthony Johnson, Matthew Sexton, though he's cut already, Cody White, Rico Bussey, Robert Spillane, Ulysses Gilbert. His stock's been going down too, man. I mean, you talk about another guy. This is his third year with the team. I really feel like for him to make this team, I mean, the Steelers got to kind of look at him as a special teams guy. Ulysses Gilbert's done nothing in regards to show that he, should be utilized as a top 4 inside linebacker on this squad. He's been pretty disappointing. So I believe he's a guy that can definitely still go on the practice squad, but he just didn't take advantage of the opportunity, I feel like, this preseason. Justin Lane will probably make it. He did have a good, I believe, what was it, the first or second game? But he hasn't really stood out from some of the other guys. Jamir Jones, I think his stock's up. He did have I believe, did he have a sack? Let me see. Jamir Jones has been battling with Cassius Marsh, Quincy Roche, and who's the other guy? There's another edge guy. Who's the other edge guy? Quincy Roche, Cassius Marsh, Jamir Jones. Why am I missing the other edge guy? Forgive me. There's somebody. I'm blanking out here, folks. I'm blanking out. Let me know in the comments who I'm missing. But Jamir Jones has been a guy who's definitely, I think, is worthy of being talked about as being implemented in as one of the last 2 edge rushers that this team is probably going to have. So stock up on him. Now, yeah, so just, I'm not really surprised by this game. Personally, I was just hoping Haskins was going to have a little bit better of a showing. I was interested to see if Benny Snell could kind of get back on track. He didn't from the sounds of it. Pretty disappointing game from just multiple guys, man. I mean, I really don't care they lost or that they lost 34-9, but it was just kind of disappointing because a lot of these guys needed to really take this game and really use this as an opportunity to really have that showing as, hey, I belong on this. I belong on this team. I belong to be a part of the rotation, and people just didn't do it. The punting situation with Jordan Berry and Presley Harvin, they both had 4 punts. One of both was inside the 20. Jordan Berry's had a really good preseason, I think. Presley Harvin's been impressive too. But if I'm the Steelers, you got to go Presley Harvin, man. You know what you've had in Jordan Berry ever since 2015. It's time to move on. You drafted this guy. This guy's got a cannon of a leg. He's got a better leg than Berry has. I think you got to roll with the young guy. You got to see what you have in him. And I definitely think that he can be pretty solid as a punter from what I've seen. And it's time to move on. Jordan Berry, we know what he is. He's a mediocre punter at best. I see guys saying, "Oh, trade him." What are you going to trade him for? Who's going to trade for Jordan Berry? You're going to cut him. You're not trading him. Yeah, let's trade Jordan Berry. What do you want for him? 4th round pick? Yeah, okay. But anyway, 34-9. That's really the basis of really what we saw in this game, and there's no need to kind of go back over it. We talked about really what us as fans wanted to see, what we were hoping to see. We didn't. Missed opportunities, poor games from guys, and maybe that's hurting their stock. Some guys who's going up in regards, I believe, in the ranks in regards to trying to make this team. So that's really what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave it there in regards of our recap of that game. Spent about half an hour talking about it. Now I want to talk about the cuts. Now I pulled up a website and apparently they didn't have the freaking cuts on here. So let me pull them back up again. I want to talk about all the guys they've cut already. Let's see, because there are some guys they cut today. Excuse me. Okay, let's see if they have them on here. Give me 1 second. going to take me to freaking Twitter. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's taking me to this website, Steelers Wire website. All right, so the deadline's tomorrow, August 31st. So the Steelers have only had a handful of cuts so far. So tomorrow's going to be a big day in regards to who's getting cut and from all over the place. But speaking of cuts, every year we see teams cut guys that are a surprise or that can really still offer things to multiple teams that would be interested. And I definitely see the Steelers doing that, and we'll get into that after this. But let's go over the cuts here. So wide receiver Isaiah McCoy, he was amongst the cuts. Offensive tackle Brandon Walton. Sam Sloman, he was cut a couple weeks ago. He was just an extra body at kicker. Defense tackle Abdullah Anderson, no clue who that is. Defensive back Stephen Denmark, no clue who that is. Linebacker Calvin Bundage, I mentioned this last week. He was probably going to be a cut candidate. Offensive lineman Aviante Collins, he was an extra body to bring into camp. He was cut. Running back Pete Guerrero, he's kind of a small, shifty running back. But he's definitely somebody I could see as a practice squad guy. Easily. Wide receiver Tyler Simmons, they signed him in the offseason just to bring in an opportunity here. Cut. Tight end Marcus Baugh, cut today. Running back Tony Brooks-James was cut. Wide receiver Matthew Sexton was cut yesterday. Wide receiver Anthony Johnson was cut today. Cornerback Shakur Brown was cut yesterday, which, speaking of Shakur Brown, man, I've talked about this on previous shows, probably about a month and a half ago. Shakur Brown was getting undrafted rookie out of Michigan State. Not sure why his stock dropped. He was supposed to be a mid-round pick. Shakur Brown had a great OTA. He had a great OTA. And I don't know why Shakur Brown was... I don't know if it was something where lack of opportunity. I don't know if it was something where the coaches just weren't really seeing what they wanted out of him and they were, giving other guys more time than him. I don't know. But Shakur Brown, I believe, will definitely be a practice squad guy. Let him have some more room to grow. I think there's some untapped potential there. But I was kind of thinking maybe Shakur Brown might be a sleeper guy coming into preseason, but he wasn't. Cornerback Lafayette Pitts was cut. Again, they brought him as a extra body, practice squad eligible. Safety Lamont Wade was cut, I believe, either today or yesterday. Defense tackle TJ Carter, whoever that is, cut. Guard Malcolm Prigion, whoever that is, cut. So those are all the cuts so far. The Steelers have to get to 53. So, I'm going to look at the team right now, okay? And we're going to go over who else we see being cut. We're going to go over, and also we're going to go over guys we could see on the practice squad possibly. So, let's see if they updated this depth chart or not. Let's see if they did. Give me 1 second. Okay. I don't know why they still don't show the other safety. Let me go to the roster. Can I just go to normal roster? Okay. Okay. So we're going to go through guys that are still on this team that are definitely possibly going to get cut, and we're going to go over guys we could see on this practice squad. So, and I believe it's 16 guys on the practice squad. So, going through, okay, Jordan Berry is going to get cut. That is my prediction. Again, as I said, I don't think there's any need to keep Jordan Berry around. We've seen him the last 7 years. We know what kind of punter he is. It's time to move on. Rico Bussey, wide receiver, he's going to get cut. Josh Dobbs, I think, is cut. You're only keeping 3 quarterbacks, so... Chaz Green, offensive tackle. He's kind of a depth, another body and camp guy, cut. Let me see who else we got here. Christian Kunitz, linebacker. Also, he's the long snapper. But I'm pretty sure Cameron Canada's the long snapper too. But I think Canada might be hurt. But I'm going to say Christian Kuntz gets cut. I believe he's been on the team actually for a little bit, hanging around. So I say he gets cut. John LeGlue, offensive tackle, cut. Cassius March, I say he gets cut. He's not impressive at all. I don't think he's done anything at all to be a part of the edge rushing group. Kevin Rader, I think he's cut. He's been on the team for like 2 years now on the practice squad. He's going to get cut. Quincy Roche is cut. I say Jalen Samuels gets cut. Donovan Steiner, backup safety, depth guy. I believe he was an undrafted rookie. Yes, he was. I say he gets cut. Jamar Watson, linebacker, rookie, undrafted rookie, cut. Cody White, second year in the league, he's going to get cut. So I think those are really, now if there's anybody I'm missing, I'm on the active roster right now. And I don't know if they're missing anybody, that they're missing a certain position on the depth chart, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're missing anybody on the active roster, but this is the current active roster currently. I believe there's more guys than this. But going through that, I think those are the guys we see cut. Now, there's also an article real quick I want to go through in regards of really a prediction in regards, people really predicting the next round of cuts before Tuesday. So let's see this. Let's see how accurate this was, and let's see if we agree. Okay, so they predicted Tony Brooke James. So the Steelers were at 80, right? And before this game, they were at 80. And now as they've cut down, I believe they cut 9 guys so far. So they have a lot to do going into Tuesday. So there's going to be a lot of guys getting cut already. So, okay, so everybody I've reported, well, really not reported, but I've already said already, has already been cut. Okay, so that article is irrelevant. Okay. So I know there's more guys. I'm not really sure why they're not listed on the active roster. But let me see real quick here. I'm going to go over the practice squad and who we could see possibly be a part of the practice squad this year. So, let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's let this load up. Because Steelers Wire, again, where I was getting my information on in regards of everybody cut, they're actually doing a prediction of everybody who makes the practice squad. So let's see who they have, and we'll compare it to who I think will. Okay, so they have Cody White. I said this. Cody White is a prime candidate to be on the practice squad, I think. Kalen Bellage. Okay, so Kalen Bellage, as I said, the Steelers could definitely keep 3 running backs. They could keep 4. Bellage, regardless, could still be the odd man out. It's possible. It's possible he makes a team. I think, personally, he should probably make the team, but they predict he'll be placed on the practice squad. Carlos Davis, they're predicting to be on the practice squad. Jamir Jones, this is kind of a surprise. They're predicting to be on the practice squad. Quincy Roche, I think that's realistic. Buddy Johnson. Buddy Johnson's a guy I think could go either way, that he makes a team. It's probably going to be him, between him and Ulysses Gilbert. Shakur Brown, I've said that. Miles Killebrew. I actually think Killebrew's actually going to make the team. Specifically special teams guy. Dobbs, Trey Edmonds, Kevin Rader, Matthew Sexton, Rashad Coward. Okay, I've seen people say that he's going to make the team. John LeGlue, Henry Mondu, Antoine Brooks. I reported this last week that Brooks was cut. I said that he was probably going to be back on the team. He is. He's injured, but he's going to be on the practice squad to start off the season. Okay. So that's the prediction of the practice squad. So the NFL expanded the practice squads to 16 players, went up to 6, having more than 2 accrued seasons. Right. So obviously they didn't go through all 16. Now it is possible that based on who the Steelers cut, the amount of guys they cut and they want to put on the practice squad, it's possible they look around the league and they swoop some guys in and place on their practice squad as well that isn't currently on the team. Now I think Cody White will definitely be on the practice squad. I think out of all the guys vying to make the 6 wide receiver spot, I think he's probably been the best guy. I think he's been the most impressive. Again, it's a low bar, but I think out of everybody, Cody White has definitely deserved that spot. So I definitely agree he's going to be on it. Now, Kalen Bellage, I think could go either way, that he makes the team or he doesn't. I'm predicting I really don't know. If they keep 4 guys, I'm going to say he makes a team. If they keep 3, I'm going to say he gets cut. But if he gets cut, I could definitely see them put him on the practice squad. It's possible maybe somebody swoops him up, but I could at least see them attempt to put him on there. Carlos Davis, I really don't know, because when we look at the defensive line, you have your starters, but Tuitt, it's possible Tuitt's going to be out week 1. I'll get into it later on. But those 3, Wormley, Loudermilk, Davis, Isaiah Buggs, Henry Mondu, those are all guys that have kind of been involved in regards of really vying for those 2 extra spots on the D-line. So it is possible Carlos Davis does... it's possible he does make the practice squad. It really depends who the Steelers, I guess, value more out of that whole group. So that is possible. Jamir Jones, I actually think Jamir Jones makes his team. I think he should make the team as one of the edge guys. I don't think he gets on the practice squad. I think he makes the team. Quincy Roche will definitely be practice squad eligible. He is eligible, but he's 100% going to be on the practice squad, no question. Buddy Johnson, I think, makes his team over Ulysses Gilbert. We'll see Ulysses Gilbert on the practice squad again. Shakur Brown, I agree with that. Miles Killebrew, I think he makes his team simply because of his special teams instincts and how good he is on the ST. I think he makes a team. Josh Dobbs will definitely be practice squad. Trey Evans will be practice squad. Backup fullback. Kevin Rader will probably be on the practice squad again. Matthew Sexton, I really don't know. I think aside from, let me see. Matthew Sexton, I really don't know. I mean, Cody White will make it. They're definitely going to stash they're definitely going to stash probably 3 wide receivers. I think Matthew Sexton we see on there, or not Matthew Sexton, Cody White 100%. I don't think we see Sexton. I think we see Cody White and maybe Anthony Johnson on the practice squad. But yeah, so far, definitely Dobbs. Bellage, yes, if they keep 3 running backs. Trey Edmonds. Cody White, possibly Anthony Johnson, I could see. But the thing is, they're probably going to keep a couple guys from their wide receivers that they've had in camp on the practice squad. Kevin Rader could probably be kept. Offensive line, I could definitely see them keep, like, I don't know. I could definitely see them keep Rashad Coward. I think he might make the team. I definitely think that, like, guys like, I don't know, they're probably going to keep Joe Haig, but if they want to keep the Leglue guy, they could do that. They'll keep a couple offensive linemen on there. But that's the thing, they're probably going to make a couple moves in regards to those on the waiver wire and probably swoop up guys there as well to help fill out the practice squad. So everybody I went through that I predicted was going to get cut, I think probably will get cut, but I think most of those guys will be on the practice squad. That's what I think. Now, what's definitely possible the Steelers do, the Steelers I could definitely see in the cornerback position. I could definitely see them, going after. There's been rumors they've been looking into Bryce Callahan on the Broncos. Take it with a grain of salt. There's been rumors that they're checking in on the cornerback market in general. So James Pierre had a very good preseason game as well. Stock up, add him to the list. Cameron Sutton, those are your 3 guys, okay? Behind them, it's very questionable. Arthur Millette, I believe he's dealing with an injury, though. They have a guy like Mark Gilbert. They haven't cut. He's still there. Justin Lane. I could definitely see them going. I could definitely see them waiting tomorrow, see who gets cut. I definitely don't think the Steelers are done making moves. I think the Steelers could definitely make maybe 1 or 2 more moves in regards of adding guys to the 53-man roster to help strengthen whatever position out. Cornerback, I 100% see them making a move there. 100%. Whether it's through a trade or somebody gets cut that they really like a lot, they bring in. I definitely think that, and they want to go with those 4 cornerbacks that they are very comfortable with. So they'll bring in somebody to be that 4th corner. Not necessarily saying he's going to be 4th on the depth chart, depending who they get. I don't know. But I could definitely see them making a move there, and they might make an extra move. But that's what the Steelers do a lot, man. After the preseason, a lot of times they might wait to make a move. They see who's on the market. They see who gets cut, because a lot of times you see it every year. There's surprising cuts, man. There's guys where teams are so, teams are really stacked at a certain position, and they got to let some guys walk. So don't be surprised, man, if you see Tuesday or Wednesday, sometime this week, the Steelers make a move for a cornerback one way or another. Don't be surprised. So I definitely would be all for that. Now, I want to get into Stephon Tuitt real quick. Stephon Tuitt hasn't played at all. Not really involved in regards to camp or practice, really. I don't know if he is dealing with undisclosed injury, but it's being talked about he's not going to be ready for week 1. I understand. He's dealing with the loss of his brother. I believe that happened about a month and a half ago. Absolutely heartbreaking. And everybody deals with things differently. I said this last week. I've said this even the week before, that in regards to Tuitt, because there was a lot of question in regards of what his status is, a lot of people handle things different, man. A lot of people can kind of move forward faster than others. A lot of people, handle things mentally or emotionally different than other people. So it's a hard situation. It's a sad situation. And, Stefon Tuitt, I mean, you can't play, man, when you're not in it. You can't play when, you know what I mean, when you're not mentally, emotionally able to. You can't. And if Stefon Tuitt needs time away, he needs time away. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's got to be the next man up. And when Stefon Tuitt's ready to come back, he'll be ready to come back, ready to rock and roll. He had a great year last year. He's a very underrated defensive player. I think that gets overlooked every year. But you got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of yourself. You got to get yourself right. You got to get yourself okay. And everybody's different, man, when they handle loss, when they're grieving and things like that. So obviously, my thoughts, my prayers are obviously with Stefon Tuitt, his family, because it's not easy, man. It's not easy when you lose someone close like that. When you lose a close family member like that, that's not easy, man. Absolutely awful. And what happened was just a tragic thing, and I don't know. So I obviously hope the best for him. Obviously, I want to see him on the field because he's a great player. He's enjoyable to watch. He's obviously a big part of the defense, but he's got to take care of himself, man. These are people just like me, just like you watching, just like all of us. And, they have things they go through every single day, just like we all do. So I hope that he can, just keep going day by day and just keep doing what he can to keep moving forward and everything like that. It's not easy. So my praying for him. And, like I said, people need, it's all different with everybody, so hopefully that he can, I just wish the best for him, and hopefully we can see him out there sooner than later. But yeah, so I think that's, if he's not there week 1, I definitely could see a guy like Chris Wormley probably stepping in. I think we could realistically see like that. I think that's the realistic option there. Now, if we're going to go through the 53-man, I know I kind of made my prediction last week, but based off of what we've seen the cuts so far and what we could see, obviously we know who the quarterbacks are: Ben, Mason, Dwayne. The running back is definitely questionable. Obviously, Harris is your 1. I think McFarland's the 2. I think he deserves to be the 2. I think behind him, it really depends. They could keep 3 running backs, maybe 4, probably realistically 3. I think Benny Snell still makes the team. If they keep 4, it'll probably be Bellage. I think Jalen Samuels is honestly done here. I think they're going to keep 3, though. I think we're going to see those 3. Fullbacks, Derek, obviously. I think they keep 5 receivers. You know who the 5 are. Tight end, Ebron, Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry, I think are the 3 TEs. But Pat Freiermuth, man, I definitely could easily see him becoming tight end 1 a lot earlier, a lot sooner than later. Pat Freiermuth's very reliable. He has great hands, all-around tight end, dual tight end. Eric Ebron, he's a receiving tight end, but even at that point in time, he's really not even that good of a receiver. I've seen people say they should trade Ebron. I completely disagree with that. I think it's good to have a guy like that. If Freiermuth's going to be the guy sooner than later, and he's going to overtake Eric Ebron, it's still good to have Ebron in there because it's good to have that second option. And he still can make plays. It's not that Eric Ebron's trash, but it's just he's inconsistent and unreliable sometimes. So I think it's still good to have a guy like Ebron there, aside from Pat Freiermuth. So I don't know what you're going to trade him for. And if you trade him for, what are you going to get for him? You're not going to get anything. Those are your tight ends. Receivers, we just went over. O-line, Okorafor left. Dawson, obviously, is by far their best offensive lineman. Kendrick Green, I really like him a lot, his potential. Trey Turner, and I like Trey Turner this preseason, and Zach Banner. I think the biggest concern on that offensive line, I've said it, is the tackles, but I think left tackle is very concerning. Okorafor's been hit or miss, I feel like, this preseason. we'll see how he does, man. If Okorafor kind of struggles early on, I think Dan Moore could definitely get an opportunity there. He had a great preseason. Or maybe they go out and they go make a move for a left tackle to be a reliable guy this year if Okorafor can't get it done. So that's a wait and see. And as I've said before, I don't think it's fair to say the Steelers' offensive line is bad because it's a completely different offensive line. If they're bringing back most of the same guys, then yeah, absolutely. But it's retooled, it's revamped, it's different than what it was last year. I think it's a question mark, if anything. But I think their interior with Dotson, Green, and Trey Turner can be pretty solid this year as long as they're healthy and playing. I think we see backup-wise, Dan Moore is obviously going to be there. I'm sure we probably see Joe Haeg as an extra tackle there. It is possible, aside from corner, like I said, it is possible the Steelers, look out in cuts and could possibly bring in a tackle in regards of being a backup, a depth guy that they like maybe more than Joe Haeg. That is possible. I think we see Rashad Coward being a backup guard. He was getting reps with the ones before Dotson. So that's definitely possible, and I think we probably see Hotzner in there as the backup center. I think B.J. Finney, it's possible he gets cut. I like B.J. Finney as a backup, as a depth guy, but it is possible he gets cut, but B.J. Finney can play center too. So why not have the best of both worlds? But who knows? I trust the Steelers coaches and their management in regards of who they think should be the backup guard and center over myself. So I think that's really what we're looking at in the O-line, but I really wouldn't be surprised, aside from a slot corner maybe or something like that, that if they look at the cuts and who's on the market and they make they put a waiver in for maybe a tackle or somebody like that they like to bring in to be a backup depth option. That's, I could see that. Defensive tackle, Hayward, Tuitt, Alu. Tuitt, it's possible he's out the first game. I could see Chris Wormley taking that. I think Wormley makes it. I think we see Isaiah Loudermilk in there. And I think we see Isaiah Buggs. I think Carlos Davis goes to the practice squad. But I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Davis makes it either because the coaches like him a lot. He's had a good camp. He's shown promise in the preseason, but I think that's my prediction there. Inside, we see Bush, we see Schobert, we see Spillane, and I think we see Buddy Johnson. If they're going to keep 5, Marcus Allen. I think Ulysses Gilbert goes to the practice squad. Edge, I think we see, obviously, TJ. I have no clue when this extension is going to happen. I don't know. I heard it could have happened Friday, could have happened Saturday. It was supposed to happen after that. I don't know what the holdup is. It better freaking happen this week. I'm telling you that right now. It better happen, please. TJ, Highsmith, Ingram. I think we see Jamir Jones. And I don't know why I'm blanking out on the other guy. I don't know why. Quincy Roche, no. But there's another edge guy there. I don't know why I'm blanking out on that. I swear, there's another edge guy I'm missing. But nonetheless, we see those 4, and maybe he'll pop up my head who I'm thinking of. Cornerback, Joe Hayden, Cam Sutton, James Pierre. I think we see Justin Lane on this team, and I think we probably see Arthur Millette on the team. I think those are your 5. I could maybe see Mark Gilbert going to the practice squad, and I could see them easily making a trade or looking on the waiver wire and bringing in another cornerback to be a part of the top 4. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Edmonds, Miles Killebrew, Trey Norwood, I think are your safeties. Presley Harvin, Chris Boswell, Cameron Canaday is your long snapper. I think that's your 53-man roster right there. I think if there's anything I would do with this roster before the season starts, I really think I would probably just go out and maybe just get an extra tackle to be a depth option, and I would definitely go out of my way and look at the cornerback market in regards of cut day tomorrow, waivers, or if you have to go make a trade. I really think that's really what they're going to do. I'm honestly I just have a feeling they're going to do that. I think a lot of people think that it's highly, highly possible they go do that. And the Steelers have created a lot of cap room to work with, too. So that's possible that happens. So I guess kind of stay in tune with that. But what we're going to do next week is, let me think here, what day? Next Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be a full-on fledged Pure Steeler outlook, the 2021 outlook, predictions, ceiling, floor, what we expect, what we think, what we could see happening with this team, what we think about this team. So really before the season, really the whole outlook, really the whole shebang of this team. That's going to be a full-on video next Saturday for the podcast. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, we'll have news about everything. If there's a Watt extension, if Tuitt's playing, which I don't think he will, but who knows. If they make a move for anybody, by that point in time, I'm sure we'll have a lot more answers to that than we do now. But yeah, so that's really, the recap of the preseason and kind of who we could see be on this practice squad, who we could see be a part of the practice squad, who we could see still get cut, and really who we think's probably going to win these position battles, man, and who we think's going to be, really what we think the 53 is going to look like, and really the outlook of that. But yeah, so that's really all there is to talk about. Steelers, there's still things that are definitely going to happen. Obviously, we have cut day tomorrow, which is going to be interesting. The Watt extension, like I said, possible moves still being made. We'll definitely be talking about it on the channel. So I'm excited to see what they all do and really the decision, the direction they go. So we'll see. I'm going to really finish off this podcast, I guess, briefly with the Pirates. So I know the Pirates aren't really, it's pretty irrelevant to talk about right now. But the game last night, actually, they were down, what was it? I think they were down 4-2. Or, I can't remember when they were down. But Yoshi Tsutsugo, who they claimed off of waivers a couple weeks ago from the Dodgers, big power hitter guy, and they wanted to take a chance on him. I believe he's hit like 4 home runs, I think, with the Pirates already in 2 weeks. But he hit a ball not quite in the river, but outside of right field for a walk-off yesterday, so that's pretty exciting. But Ke'Bryan Hayes exited the game yesterday with left hand discomfort. I believe that was the hand that was injured. Ke'Bryan Hayes, honestly, has been disappointing this year. Definitely didn't have the season I was hoping he would have had. We know he missed the first 2 months of the season, really. He only really played in the first 1.5 games and missed 2 months with that hand injury. Really, after that, it didn't really seem like he really got acclimated and wasn't really comfortable. Ke'Bryan Hayes, we know he has a great future, and we know Ke'Bryan Hayes, he's gonna, I think he's just got to get that hand right. I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of been bugging him on and off throughout the year and kind of messing up his approach and his in regards of the consistency of getting the ball in the field. We'll see what happens there. But the Pirates at this point in time, man, we know the season's over. If there's ever a time I watch the games right now, it's usually if there's a pitcher I want to watch or if there's somebody intriguing. But honestly, I can't wait for baseball season in regards to the Pirates just to be over and done with right now because, yes, we knew they were going to be bad, obviously, but there are things next year I'm looking forward to with the team and guys that we could see come up next year. So it's time just to get rid of this. They dismissed Rick Eckstein, the hitting coach, which was definitely the right move. They have the 27th ranked BA batting average as a team in the majors. It's time to move on from him. There's multiple people you got to move on from, but anyway, the Pirates they defeated the Cardinals last night. They're going to be, I believe, they're headed to the White Sox. I believe they're headed to Chicago to 2-game series, I believe, so they'll probably lose those 2. But we'll see. Ke'Bryan Hayes, he wasn't put on the injury list or anything. He was removed. Cole Tucker was brought up. They officially released Gregory Polanco. It was weird what happened. If you weren't really keeping up, they did DFA Polanco last week, but when you DFA a player, they can still, play or whatever. And so when they DFA, it gives you the option to trade them, to move them down to AAA or outright release them over 10 days. So nobody picked him up through waivers or anything like that. So he stayed with the Pirates, but then the Pirates, they just decided to release him outright and just kind of move on from him. Gregory Polanco's had a piss-poor season this year. And it was time to move on. Playing him at this point in time as a team, with where you're at as a team, playing him just doesn't make sense over some, maybe some other guys and stuff in the outfield. You're not benefiting by anything. He's not benefiting by anything. I'm sure he'll get another opportunity in the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets signed to like an American League team and gets a, maybe a minor league contract, invite to spring training or something like that. I could see that. But Gregory Polanco, when he came up, man, in 2014, there was a lot of promise that this guy had the potential to be an all-star caliber kind of player, and he just never lived up to it. Polanco's been a guy, he's always had power in that bat, but he just wasn't a consistent hitter, not an on-base guy a lot, mediocre at best defender. he just never transitioned, man. He just never transitioned. He never transitioned into a reliable guy in the outfield. And if you would have told me back in 2015 that he would have been the last Pirate from that team, I never would have believed you. I never would have believed you. But the Polanco era's done. Everybody from the playoff eras are all gone. But it needed to be done. It needed to be done. There's no room here for Polanco next year, and at this point in time of the season, you're not benefiting by anything playing him, and he's not getting any benefit as well either. So, best of luck, Gregory Polanco. Great guy. He always was out there, you know what I mean? Never gave up. From what everybody says on the Pirates, great teammate. Always there for his guys and everything like that. But when you're just not producing, man, and you're not playing at the level you need to play at, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you can be the nicest guy in the world, but if you're not producing at the plate, there's no room for you on the team. That's just the way it is. Now, can Polanco bounce back with wherever he goes? Sure, he's only 29. Sure he can. I hope he does. I wish him success. Great guy, great teammate, great locker room dude. Just never lived up to expectations and just never transitioned well in the major leagues from, AAA and never really developed into that. So, I don't know. Best of luck to Gregory Polanco. That's going to be it, though, folks, on episode 32 of In Hindsight for your Monday edition. We'll be back here Saturday for our 2021 Steelers Outlook preview, predictions, what we expect, ceilings we could see with this team, floors we could see with this team. Really what I expect and what I see happening, and really, I guess, the overall look of the team, and I think really as a whole, what we can expect going forward for the 2021 Pittsburgh Steelers. So, definitely excited for that. And also next Sunday, we're also going to be doing a whole 2021 outlook on all the other teams. We're going to be breaking down division by division, going through the teams, looking at their schedule, looking at where the teams are sitting at and everything, and really what do we see happening and everything like that. So I'm excited to do that. But let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Let me know in the comments maybe guys that you think might make the team that I didn't mention. Maybe some moves you think the Steelers should do. Anything like that. So, and anything. Could be anything. So, I always reply. I always love to interact. If you guys would like to subscribe and like this video, I would appreciate it. Just trying to keep growing, as I say, and reach more sport fans. So, it doesn't matter if you like Pittsburgh teams or not. You're always welcome here. It's always fun to interact, have opinions, talk, and things like that. So, I always appreciate you guys' support and all you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to the show. We went over an hour, so a little bit longer than maybe I thought, but a lot of times when we really break down Steelers and things like that, it's going to be probably a little bit more of a longer show because we actually go in depth. We actually go into detail on things. So that's what we do here at IHS. But nonetheless, guys, we'll see you next week here Saturday. You guys can follow me at Facebook at InHindsight. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Nate_Heintz or Nathan_Heintz, Twitter, Nate_Heintz. It's all in the description down below. So you guys can follow me on that. If you guys want to keep up with all things of the channel, you guys can do that. So enjoy your Monday, enjoy your week. We'll see what happens with Steelers stuff tomorrow and the rest of this week, and we'll be right here to talk about it. Also, everything else going around in the world of sports. So it's very exciting. College football has started this past week, but really this week's the big week as well. So for all you college football fans, that's definitely exciting. It's great to see. So very excited for football season. We all love it, and I'm looking forward to next week's show. Hopefully I see you guys there. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you Saturday.